Well, for an analysis of the situation in Taiwan, we're joined here in the studio by retired Air Vice-Marshal Sean Bell. Good to have you back in the studio, Sean. And this is day two, isn't it, of the Chinese military drills in the waters around Taiwan. Just bring us up to speed. What's the latest?
Yeah, day two, biggest military show of force in the region for a long time. Over 100 Chinese fighter bombers have been involved. Over 10 Chinese warships. Interesting enough, originally there's a sort of agreement between China and Taiwan that have this median line where the military forces from each side wouldn't transgress. But China's been flooding across that line with its aircraft and its ships over the last 48 hours. Originally, there were 6 military zones where China was operating its live firing around Taiwan.
Now it's 7.
Now, well, we understand it's now 7. Another one out to the east. They've also been, Chinese have been operating drones around Kinmen Islands, which are only 5 miles away from the Chinese mainland. There's been 11 ballistic missiles launched by China into these zones, some of them flying across the top of Taiwan. China's claimed all of those have hit their targets, but in reality, they're firing them into the sea, so it's very difficult to tell. Interestingly, they've also fired 5 ballistic missiles into the Japanese economic zone, which is quite provocative. And interestingly enough as well, these 6 zones, a couple of them actually infringe on the territorial waters of Taiwan. And therefore, China's conducting live exercises within territorial waters of Taiwan. Now, if that was to happen in any other nation in the world, that's incredibly provocative and dangerous. Of course, China just claims it's their country. For Taiwan's perspective at the moment, they've been operating their Mirage 2000s and their F-5 jets in their air defence zone, and also deploying their Navy and missile systems around the country.
Now, we know that the Chinese were displeased by the visit of Nancy Pelosi, if it's possible to unstate that. Why are China doing this now?
Yeah, as you say, I mean, this is lots of posturing and very advanced rhetoric. Chinese are actually threatening or intimidating Taiwan. They've been doing this for quite some time, clearly with their long-term aim of assimilating Taiwan back to China. It's also the military activity is also a good opportunity for Taiwan to test its military capabilities, but also train. It's not often you get to train in a joint environment, air, land and maritime, operating together in a complex environment in what would be a very difficult amphibious operation. They've also got the chance, because China's military are threatening Taiwan, they're able to see how Taiwan responds. Taiwan will turn on its radars. It will have its military deployed. So China will be watching all those movements of its air, land and maritime, and that will all inform Chinese planning for the future. What's interesting as well, though, from outside Taiwan, this 7th zone of military zone is out to the east, well away from Taiwan. That is probably not targeted at Japan. And even though those missiles went in the Japanese economic zone, in reality, it's almost certainly a key message to the United States, because Okinawa is one of the military establishments for America in the region. It's got 26,000 military folks there. Now, most of our military bases in this country have about 2,000. So it's over 10 times the size of our military bases, and enormous. And of course, you've got the USS Ronald Reagan operating a nuclear-powered carrier in the region as well. All of this is very high-risk game of poker at the moment, with some really grave risks of miscalculation.
All right. Well, the only good news is that you're here to keep us up to speed with all of the developments throughout the day. Sean Bell, thank you very much indeed.